Hi guys, welcome back to Saving Salvage and welcome back to the channel. Right, first proper video of 2020 and today we are working on the Mustang. In my previous video I did say that I wanted to get the Mustang rolling, be able to get it off the ramp easy, because at the minute it's just stuck on the ramp and I have to get the transporter in, strap it to the bed. It's just like a 15-20 minute process to get it off and on. So our priority is to get the chassis finished, get the chassis painted, get the engine back in, which includes the suspension, and in that way hopefully it can then drive in and out. So in today's video we will be going over the chassis, where it's been welded, strengthened, and then we will be sanding down all the white panels, the front crash bar, which is in grey, and then we're just going to spray it a nice black colour to match the rest of the chassis, and then obviously we can then start getting the engine in. So as always guys, if you do enjoy these videos, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you haven't already, please do head over to Instagram and follow my page on there, which is saving_salvage. I'll just put it up in the top corner for you. Right, so that's it. Let's crack on with the Mustang. Right, so I'm not sure where people actually remember up to, but the chassis is now completely welded on. It's been welded on, and it's had reinforced plates put on at either side. So we have a plate this side, and I actually did end up getting the internal plates fitted as well. Just some plates. I can't do too much. I can't do the whole chassis. I can't do the top and the bottom because of where the subframe bolts uses these bolts, so I can't alter the top or the bottom, so I can only put the chassis strengthening plates on these two bits here. So that is why they look a bit smaller, but they are on there each side as well as the back, and obviously welded at point of contact where they met as well. So I'm fully happy that this, and the guy that welded it said, yep, that will be stronger than it actually was before. So proper happy with that. Chassis is all good, all on. So now what we've got to do is we've got to sand down the white parts, sand down this grey crash bar at the front here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of body filler. I'm not going to go mad with it. All I want to do is just go over the welds, just to smooth it out, just to make it look like, not like a factory finish, because obviously it's obviously not going to look like a factory finish, but I just want it to make it look nice and smooth. So we're just going to be a bit of body filler over these, just so it's just a nice smooth continuity, and make it just look a lot nicer, and then we'll sand it all down, paint it, and then we can crack on with getting the engine back in. So let's go. Right, so there we go. I've just put some body filler on it. I haven't gone mad. I've literally just put it on the welds just so it gives it. So I'll sand it all down now, smooth it all out, sand this all down. It's just to give it a bit more of a smoother, more natural look. And then obviously instead of having welds on show, so I haven't gone too mad. It's just over the welds, just so when it's nice and sanded down, it will just look nice and smooth. So that's all done. Now we'll crack on with sanding it all down. Right guys, that's now all the body filler and sanding complete. I know it's going to be impossible to make it look factory because we've got added strengthening parts on the exterior and interior, so you're always going to see obviously a slight curve here for where the added parts are, but it's all about just getting it as close to factory as possible and just making it look as neat as possible. So that is the reason for all the just the body filler, just over the welds, look, just to make it look smoother. So we've done that side. Let's just go under here. This side's all done here, look. That's all nicely smoothed in. Same with this side, look, all nicely smoothed in. And same with this side, all nicely smoothed in on all the edges. So it's going to be quite tricky to paint, purely because Ford obviously haven't gone to town in painting the interior parts anyway, look. So it should be, if you look at the top here, the same colour as that, which is the same colour as the car. But obviously, look, where obviously parts have been on, these parts haven't been painted at all. So it's kind of the same throughout. Some parts are painted, some parts are not. So it's going to be quite tricky to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the chassis legs and just paint the chassis legs along here. Obviously paint all what I've replaced, and on the inside it's going to be a bit trickier, but I think what we'll do is we'll mask off up to here, under there, up to here, and across here, and paint this section again, and the same on this side. But we're going to have to probably go a bit further on this side, because obviously we've welded onto here, so we might have to go possibly along this section here. I don't know yet. I don't know how the paint's going to match as well, because it's not. I didn't go, because it's only the inside. I didn't go and buy a proper paint. It was just the same colour paint, but just from Halford. So I don't know how it's going to come out. It's only a rattle can. Might come out well. If it doesn't come out well, obviously we'll have to buy the correct stuff. But that is the plan. So what we'll have to do now is sand the rest of the paint. So just sand all this sticky stuff off. Got to get all that off, and just sand back the white paint so we can put primer on. We'll have to remove this so it doesn't get paint on it, and then we can primer and then paint. Right, I've just started masking up areas ready for paint. I have, as you can see, I have just test painted this area here. It's important that I don't want to make it a really good paint job, not that it's ever going to be with rattle cans, but the factory paint of the old chassis. Let's just go over to this bit here, look. So that's the old chassis leg, look, the one I've cut off, and look, it's not really even painted properly at all. So it's a bit difficult to know how to do it. So what I'm going to do is, well, like I've done here, look, it's just a light. It's going to be painted more than the old one was, because I don't think I can get it like that. But I just want to do a very light dusting on the chassis rails, look, like that. And then obviously up there, painted a bit more properly, because that is what's going to be on show in the engine bay. So we're going to focus more on painting this top bit, getting it not 100%, because the old one's still not 100%, but pretty good. And then just the rest of it, all the chassis rails inside, along the crash bar and the backside, just a light dusting, just to make it look as factory as possible. So I've kind of just tested, I've done this bit just to test it, and to be fair, it's come out pretty well, look. Yes, it's more black than factory, but it still looks like the factory like dusting as such. It's not perfect, and that's what I'm going for, just a bit of a rough look. So I'm going to carry on like that. I am going to have to go to Halfords now and get some more paint, because I didn't get nowhere near enough. So I'm going to pop to Halfords now, come back, and we'll stick the time lapse on. Right guys, that was quite difficult. It was to try and get like the factory effect. Obviously, I'm never going to be able to do as light a dusting as the factory is, because it's barely any paint. It's literally just a light dusting. But I've tried to make it look as factory as possible. Look, so you can kind of see where I've just dusted it on basically, and it's blended in quite well with the factory. It's a little bit more black than the factory, but the way I've done it, it just looks a lot more OEM than if I were to paint it all like a proper gloss black. Obviously you can see where I've concentrated more on the turrets. Look, they're a lot more black to blend in with the actual paint. Look, I know you still won't see them because they're behind like the airbox and the fuse and etc. But on the original parts, they were proper black as well. So I've concentrated more on those, got them a nice black to match the rest of the shock turrets. Same with this side as well. But on the chassis, again, I've just tried to go for a light dusting just to blend it in as much as possible. So really happy with how that's come out. Front crash bar as well, all down the side. Look, just try to get it as factory looking as possible. Down there, look, and there she is. So that is the chassis legs all painted, which means we are all done. You wouldn't be able to, can't even see where the worlds were now. They just blend in, and actually they're not even too prominent either. You can see where I've got the light. You can't even see where it sticks out actually, where the plate's stuck out. Again, same with that side. You can just about see it there. Look, but it's barely visible, and it's just massive peace of mind for structural integrity. So there we go, all done, all painted, everything all done. So now it's time to put the engine back in. Right guys, that's all I've got time for in today's video. So just a quick recap. We have now welded, fully welded, body fillered the welds, primered, sanded everything down, and now painted the whole front end. So crash bar, both chassis rails, all done. Tried to make it look as factory as possible by just like a light dusting of paint, just to try and match the factory one as much as possible. Really happy with how it's come out. Looks really good. So then now we are on to putting it back together. So now that's all, we're literally halfway now in the build. So everything's been stripped down. Everything that needs to be repaired for the chassis has now been repaired. So it is now a case of putting everything back together. So that means in the next video, we will be going for the engine and the subframe, which is down there. They will be going back in. And then hopefully we can start just putting enough bits on so we can get it started, and actually might be able to drive it off the ramp. And then when that's done, I'm going to order the radiator and condenser today, so they will then turn up ready to be installed as well. So then we can properly get the engine running up to temperature, etc. Make sure there's no faults. So as always guys, if you do enjoy these videos, please do subscribe if you haven't already, and any comments you have, just drop it in the comments box below. I'll try and get through as many as possible. If you haven't already, please do follow me on Instagram as well. It's saving_salvage, just for a few updates during the week in between videos. So that's it guys, that's all I've got time for in this video. Join me next time for the engine to go back in the Mustang. Cheers guys.